Call the Board of Selectmen meeting for February 9th, 2026 to order. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcasted and recorded. We've got 5 minutes. Did you want to start something?
Yes. With respect to my report, the first item is, as the board may recall, last spring there was a lottery for non-resident boat launching and parking. The board suggested that we put up to 10 permits together. We went out with the advertisement and we got a total of 8 people, so we didn't even have to hold the lottery. And my question is, are you interested in doing it again? It's $1,000 per person. And if so, I would recommend that we pass the whole thing over to the harbor master for future years to run and
What was the cost of administering it? Minimal?
minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remembered, I didn't realize, did we get 8 or 6? I thought we got 6.
I thought we got 8 by the end, but
That's
Maybe
okay.
2 dropped out.
But, one of the things is, do we pass it on? And I think that the Board of Selectmen, to do it for 3 years and then pass it on would be a good idea, so that way we can keep track of,
right, but the Board of Selectmen is me.
okay, then you'd like to pass it on.
Yes.
All right,
Then
pass
I
it on.
suggest that we pass it
That
on.
department has 10 people working in it at least, so.
So we
Okay.
want to keep
So
it going, but we want to pass it on.
I'll entertain a
to-
motion to keep the 10, unless anybody wants to change it. Keep the 10 at $1,000
And pass it on to the
and
harbor.
pass it on to the
Right.
harbor
And I
master.
can give him all the names from last year so that he can reach out to them as well as advertise it.
All right, so moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so with respect to the questions that the Finance Committee had for the DPW, some questions that the Selectmen have for the DPW, and then the follow-up with respect to all of the items that I currently work with that could be brought to the Board of Public Works for additional collaboration. I'm recommending that we pull together a joint meeting of the Finance Committee, the Selectmen, and the Board of Public Works to discuss all of that, especially where right now they don't have a permanent replacement for Superintendent of Public Works, and there are so many things on the table, and we have questions coming from different directions, and I think it would be useful to have everybody in one place to go over in a single meeting, not as part of another meeting, and go through any questions or concerns that anyone has had on the matter.
So I've been trying to go through all of the emails and get them into an Excel spreadsheet so we can show what the question was, what the answer was, or if there was no answer, so that then we can have some type of tracking. I
So is,
had to put it on hold this weekend for the
I
meeting, but
just want to pose a question. And everything is sort of disjointed and inefficient and all that sort of stuff. But soon, hopefully, we're going to have potentially a Department of Public Works as well as a new director of the Department of Public Works, or at least a new director there. And I'm wondering if we can, and I'm just asking a question, I'm not advocating for it. I'm wondering if it might be more efficient to just let the mess continue and hope that in another year, because when a new person comes in, they're gonna wanna make changes too. And, it's gonna be really hard on the DPW workers, when that happens. They do one thing for 1 year or a year and a half or whatever it may be, and then, they have to do something different because this new guy wants different. So I'm just throwing that out.
and with respect to things, collaboration and whether they take on things that I'm working on now, that's one thing. The problem is we have a lot of questions out there.
Right.
And some of them are financial, and there are no answers yet.
I understand.
that's where my concern is. That some of them are related to budget in order for me.
But those have been hanging around for the last 30 years, So, one more year, I don't know. I mean,
My thoughts
I'll
would
go in
be,
any direction, but I'm
my
just wanna
thoughts
throw
are
it out there.
having a collective meeting to look at all the different questions, and then only, if we can only, hold off some and work on others.
Leave the rest alone, you can agree on that.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
where I would, because there is
Okay.
so much, and I want to make sure that we're collaborating all together and we're not finger pointing or, doing anything
Right.
that puts people in a bad position.
All right, so is that the pleasure of the board, to pull everyone together?
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
But let's talk about what that looks like, because right now, the tone stinks. And we've got to talk to each other in a different way, put aside all the BS, and just figure out how we can problem solve. So, who's going to manage the meeting? Who's going to develop the agenda? Like, let's kind of figure out how that's going to be. I think you can propose some ideas and send them to us, and we can talk about it the next time, but, who's going to run the meeting?
A facilitator type thing? Or
Or is, well,
arbitrator?
pick a facility, is it gonna be Oliver, or is it gonna be Nick? Or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
even Nick could have a conversation about how you want this meeting to go, so that it's constructive, we get things done, and, it's not, that the tone shifts to be about problem solving and not about finger pointing.
I don't disagree at all.
My concern about bringing it to the next meeting, though, is we're gonna run out of time with the budget.
Yeah, I think that you
Can we
schedule
go,
the
can we
meeting.
pick a date? That's,
Yeah,
that's, yeah,
schedule the meeting and
Okay.
then,
And then figure out, yeah. okay. Thank you,
Thank you, and thanks for putting it all together, it's.
sure.
Okay, with the time being 6:05, is Mark Preston, is that? We have an appointment with you. This is regarding Changing Futures to hold
covers
an
the collaborative
in-town
work.
bicycle event.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you? Thank you for
Good, how are
having
you?
us. I'm Joel Steiner. I'm with Mark Preston and Chris Kelly. We're with Changing Futures. We are a nonprofit founded a couple years ago. We're here to discuss a proposal for a July 18th bike ride. And so we're here not to look for a vote tonight, but really to start our partnership and trying to understand the pathway and review process so we can incorporate that. I want to share a little bit about ourselves as a group, why we kind of want to partner with Essex, and then also a little bit more personal experience as well as the route, and hear any questions so we can start the process in a more formal way. So first off, again, thank you for having us, and it's very nice meeting you. I co-founded Changing Futures within the last 2 years. We do a lot of partnerships with Beth Israel as well to directly support some of their research that they're doing, a lot for aging patients with cystic fibrosis. We're trying to also hope that discovery will help with patients that have cancer. So a lot of times as patients age with cystic fibrosis, they have increased risk for colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer, lung cancer. And so our hope is that we can drive funds to Beth Israel, direct to the researcher, and understand why that's the case, and hopefully better understand it and treat it for other patients as well. So not just CF patients, but more broadly. We've been doing work with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for over a decade, and we had the #1 fundraising team for several years. We had riders from 15 to 20 that are on our team directly. We wanted to have more of a direct impact, so we started our own charity and started doing our rides. During COVID, for instance, there was no planned path, and we took one from Linfield. The three of us are from Linfield. We took our route from Linfield up to Essex as well, and it was just a beautiful ride that has stuck with us. Some parts were pretty hard. I remember with the hills that we took, but it's always stuck with us and resonated, and I think we want to start to have more of that community experience that we can make an ongoing basis. Our goal, again, is to run a safe and well-organized event. We have a board with a depth of experience. We've done polar plunges recently, as recent as January 1st with Marblehead. That was the second year we did it. That went well. The researcher, who's, I know we're being recorded, but he's 70. I didn't want to say anything about his age, but we're willing to jump in and jump into the water too with us at his age, and same thing, riding the bikes with us. So he's fully in doing it too, which is amazing. But our goal, again, here is to understand the review pathway, what you guys expect from us, make sure we can align with communication. I'll let Chris and Mark kind of speak to why Essex and why we think it's so beautiful here. But again, we're coming here early and trying to start gathering some of the questions that you have so we can start answering them. With that, I'll kick it over to Chris.
My name's Chris Kelly. I've been coming to Essex my entire life to visit
It's for the TV, we need the mic.
My name's Chris Kelly. I've been coming to Essex my entire life to visit my family up here and spend time with my aunt and my uncle and my grandfather. And just as of last week, I became a property owner up here in Essex. And there's nothing more I enjoy than getting to share the river in this town with my friends and family when they come up. And it was a great time when we had this ride from Linfield back in 2020, and thought it'd be a great place to have a fundraiser event that we get to share as a community with our family members and friends and some business partners. So we look forward to the opportunity to be up here. We've already spent a lot of time talking with Woodmans to understand the logistics of their parking lot and the timing to not be disruptive for the flow of traffic, and really plan the event to work around not interfering too much with their operations that happen later in the day on a Saturday in July. So we're here basically to find out what you would want to hear from us to understand what we're about and what we're here to do and what requirements the town would have, and we are here to meet them. Mark?
Great. And my name is Mark Preston. My role has been more of designing the route. We're all avid cyclists, and many of us have ridden the roads of Essex in our training. We're also proud parents of children many of whom are now teenagers, and many of whom we hope will continue this tradition and ride with us. So we thought of that in our planning, and what we decided to do this year, rather than one epic 70-mile, 80-mile, 100-mile ride, was let's pick something safe, let's pick something family-based, and let's pick something that we hope our children will want to ride with us. So we've designed a 14.25-mile route that runs throughout Essex. I can go over the exact route if you're curious, or in so inclined, I can send it as a follow-up to Brendan and share with the team. But our goal is that we make this a safe event. We know that some of the roads that we will be on are state highways, 22 and 133, and we want to make sure we're working appropriately with you to secure the appropriate fire and rescue, as well as police officers that we may need at certain pinch points on the route.
So I will say that as far as your nonprofit, you said you started this 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago, yes.
And
About 2 years ago, yes.
the reason I'm asking is I tried looking it up, and I did see one mention of it in a search engine, and it was related to cystic fibrosis, and I'm like, I don't even know if that's the same group or if it's a different group. Wanting to make sure that it is a legitimate nonprofit. And then I think the other concerns that we had was the fact that it's 3 times around on a July Saturday, which can be tough. It pretty much means from 9 to 12, there'll be cyclists on.
Well, yeah, in terms of the route, what we thought of in terms of offering the potential of up to 3. Some of our cyclists are avid cyclists who go out and ride 100 miles. We wanted to make sure that they have the option where they feel like they push themselves. We have some cyclists that will be happy doing 1 lap, stop at 14 and pat themselves on the back, particularly, younger.
Yep.
When I say younger children, I mean 14, 15-year-olds. So that was the thought process that we had in terms of just offering some options.
Does
Have
anybody
we
have?
seen the route?
Yeah, I have.
It's in the map. It was in the map from last meeting.
Okay, but it's right here,
Yeah,
Peter.
yeah. Okay,
Remember
I
that.
remember it. Yep.
Yeah, as Mark
Goes up to
mentioned,
Canomo
we
and-
look at having the route one time, but for the more avid cyclists, they could go a total of 3, and we'll have a stop station so they can refill water. We're going to want to make sure, like that, at certain intersections, that there's police there that you're more familiar with, that we would pay clearly to make sure that they're covered.
Is the entertainment, the staging's gonna be at Woodman's, is the entertainment gonna be there as well?
We're still working through like what type of entertainment. I know that they're pretty familiar with the regulations and the sound, so we'll make sure that we comply with all the regulations as well.
And what is the time frame you're thinking from start to finish, when they first start coming to the site to stage, and when?
It's still to be determined, but our guesstimate, we'll stagger out the riders, so like the
Yeah.
15-mile route, the 30-mile route, the 45-mile route, reverse that a little bit. 8:30 or 9 in the morning that we either gather and then launch, and our hope is that we'd be back early 12 to 1 and wrapped up by 2 p.m. out.
So on a positive, high tide's not till 3 in the afternoon, I believe I said, isn't it like 3:15? And because it's important when the boats, people
Wow.
have, as I look at those things, because if it was 12 noon, high tide, I'd probably say, nope, not doing it. But it is 3, so I'm a little bit,
How high was the tide? Were you concerned about,
Check
were you
that.
concerned about flooding?
no, I was concerned about the people getting to the landing to launch their boats.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that happens all day long. on a
Not with
Saturday.
cyclists, they don't want to be stopped.
No, but on a Saturday it happens.
Exactly, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that there's not having 3 routes of cyclists, because those first cyclists who are doing the whole thing could be passing the second group. I mean, it's kind of like a marathon where you can pass people even though you were the first group out, because you're much
There
faster.
won't be many of them, 20, 30 at the most?
Since it's our first year running just our own event, it would be more so expecting, like where our goal would be 50 riders, we'd be happy with that across all 3 sections, so.
The long route riders aren't gonna be that many.
Less than
Yeah.
half.
Less than 10, I would say.
And they're probably going to be the fastest riders of all. But if we have them launch first, then that would give them a head start, and then launch the second like an hour later, and vice versa.
And I don't know if you guys see in the morning that there is a group that rides in the summertime.
A lot of groups that do.
I mean, they're riding through past my house at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like 30 of them, because I can hear the going, coming along. So that kind of, we just want to make sure that it's safe. Now, I do believe also, you saying that you're going to talk with the police and fire. I think that that's important, right? That's what the chief
Yeah, they're
said.
gonna want that.
Yep.
So you've independently set up a time to speak with them, or do you need that?
We still need to set
Need
that
that
up.
coordinated, yeah.
Yes.
Because they're going to ask for you to do things like pay for police details, for ambulance detail, things of that nature, which you expect, it sounds like.
Yes.
So so first of all, go ahead, Annie, you were going to say something, and then we'll get to the
I
board.
just have a couple questions. And Tom's on the line, so I'm wondering if he can speak to any of this, if it's relevant, and this is a dumb question, because I don't ride bikes. But is it better to have one loop, or is it, is there a difference in safety on, a 3-loop thing or one larger loop? Do you know
So
what I'm saying?
We put some time into picking the route to try to find a safe route through Essex. Mark has ridden through here many of times, and we've been up here a few times with him. And the thought process was less points to manage. So now we're,
Okay.
you have these points that you want to have some knowledge passed on to everyone, be careful at this turn. Now it's just less points to handle, and they're just repeated.
Makes sense.
Okay, so it's not like the police would be chasing folks, okay. And I'm just wondering, I would love to hear what Tom has to say. I mean, I think it's
I would
great.
just add to that,
Yeah.
I think this being our first year, doing a larger route probably means routing through more towns.
Yeah.
And given that it is our first year, we wanted to simplify our logistics and make it easier by working with one partner, Essex, in this
Great.
case. So if we do have a successful event, we would hope to do it again next year, maybe we look at expanding it into Ipswich or a neighboring town.
Sure.
Thanks for the work you're doing, too. That's important.
Thank you.
If you agree with expanding it.
Yeah, this past year, we donated $70,000 from the bike events that we've done in the past. That's our flagship. The year before, we distributed $65,000 directly.
Wow.
And then they were able to find matches to double that. So it's really made a big impact. The researcher is about to publish the documents from what they're finding. It's pretty exciting. So I'll wait for that to come out, hopefully in the next couple months, but definitely excited to see what comes from it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So it sounds
Brendan,
like
can
the
you hear me?
board is not against it, you just want more information and you
Yeah,
want
the
coordination
concept we agree
with
with,
public
I think.
safety and then bring it back again. So that's positive, right? The board would like to explore it with you. So what I can do is work with public safety to try to set up a meeting, whether that's a virtual meeting or whatever it's going to be, so that you have more information.
It looks like, Tom, do we want to just ask Tom, or
Yes.
if he has anything? Hi, Tom,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
we can.
Yeah, I have no concerns. We've dealt with big road races that have spanned multiple towns, and with plenty of planning, police and fire, and the race organizers, we'll definitely be able to put something together that's safe for everybody.
Great.
That's awesome, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. That's fine. Thank you.
So as a
Okay.
follow-up then, Brendan, I guess we'll touch base with you as far as,
I'll send you an email, we'll get something going, all right?
that'd be
All
great.
right.
Thank you very much for your
coming
time.
in.
Very
Thank
much
you for your
appreciate it.
time.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming in. Appreciate it. Okay, look at this, right on time. We have a public comment from Ruth Perrine.
Ruth Perrine, 15 Lufkin Street. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me the opportunity to be on your agenda this evening. My goal for this evening's agenda item is to discuss the potential for 2 warrant articles for the annual town meeting. As the town prepares for the Essex Annual Town Meeting in 2026, I respectfully request that the board consider placing 2 articles on the warrant for voter considerations. This request is made in the context of ongoing concerns regarding Essex's increasing tax rate and the financial pressures it continues to place on both young families and senior residents. The issue of tax relief, particularly for seniors, has been discussed for many years. While programs such as tax exemptions and tax work-off initiatives have been explored in the past, they have often proven to be administratively challenging to implement. In light of these constraints, I'm proposing 2 alternative measures that I believe would offer meaningful and direct tax relief to residents. The first request, I request the placement of a warrant article to repeal Essex's 1.5% CPA surcharge. As you know, the Community Preservation Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, allows municipalities to impose a property tax surcharge to fund open space, historic preservation, affordable housing, and recreational projects. Essex adopted the CPA in 2007, with the surcharge taking effect in fiscal year 2008. The surcharge was later increased from 0.5% to 1.5% in 2016. At present, the CPA fund holds approximately $1.2 million. While the program has supported valuable town-sponsored projects, such as the pumper shed, the town pound, and town landing docks, repealing the CPA surcharge would immediately reduce the tax burden on Essex property owners by 1.5%. My second request, I am also requesting a warrant article to repeal Section 6-8 of the Essex zoning bylaws concerning open space residential development. According to the town of Essex's 2021 open space plan, 81.9% of the town's land remains open space, with 35% permanently protected and an additional 17.9% subject to development restrictions. When water bodies and salt marsh, already protected under state law, are included, over 64% of Essex's protected open space falls into these categories alone. While conservation remains an important goal, the continued removal of land from the tax rolls increases the tax burden on the remaining taxpayers. OSRD provisions allows development on smaller lots, 10,000 square feet, rather than the standard 40,000 square feet, while placing up to 70% of the parcel under permanent restriction, rendering that portion non-taxable. Given the substantial amount of protected land already in Essex, I believe it is appropriate to reconsider whether this bylaw continues to serve the town's financial and policy interests. Although identifying new revenue sources is challenging, these 2 policy changes offer a straightforward opportunity to ease the tax burden on Essex residents. Thank you for your consideration. And I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any questions about why I'm here or anything that I said.
This latest project is of the open space, that increases what would be in conservation up to what percent for the town?
So the 84.4 acres off of Essex Park Road, I believe that their proposal is 30% will be built on and 70% will be restricted.
In that case, though, even if it wasn't an OSRD, you'd still have the same amount of, probably fewer units. So probably less taxes. Are you saying that you don't want them to be able to not pay taxes on that 70%?
Well, no, the OSRD, all that does is allow the developer the opportunity to build additional homes, which in this case is 20% more. So instead of building 30 homes, they're able to build 36.
Right.
But what happens is, I believe that there is potential future unintended consequences by way of the potential culvert, water, ownership of this. But what happens is they shrink those lots. So instead of the standard zoning 40,000 square foot lot, you're building a 4-bedroom home on a 10,000 square foot lot. That is a decrease in potential revenues, because a single family home on a 40,000 square foot lot is going to bring in a lot more tax dollars than a 10,000 square foot lot. And then the 70%,
No,
they
I
could.
hear what you're saying. I don't know. I'd have to look at numbers to see if that is the case, because generally, you know, the house itself is what gets
No,
the most
look
tax.
at your tax bill.
So the property is gonna be a lot higher?
Well, at a certain point, you have to look at the number, I agree.
Yeah.
Because there is a certain amount of land that gets taxed at a certain rate,
Right.
and then there's surplus
Yeah,
area.
okay.
And so you'd have to do a comparison between what the lots would have been at the one, if it was just a standard subdivision.
Right, and it would be fewer units.
Right, so, is 36 homes at maybe a slightly lower value per home worth less than 30 at, you have to do the math, I agree.
Yeah.
Until you do that, you don't know for sure, but that could be what's at play.
Well, and there are other potential unintended consequences. When the developer builds and then they sell and they walk away with a nice profit, there's several options on the table at this point. They're proposing, the first option is to turn that 70% over to the town of Essex, and they would then be the owner and caretaker of that property. So who's going to maintain that land? Who's going to make sure the roads are clear? What happens if there's, a water main break? What's going to happen if the retention ponds fill up? Who's going to maintain those? So are we now expecting our DPW to maintain this property that they want to give back to the town? I understand that it's a nice gesture, but ultimately it costs us money in the long run. Second option is MECT. That's certainly a better option than the town taking ownership. At least that nonprofit would be then the manager of that land, so that burden wouldn't fall on us. But nonetheless, it's still a nonprofit taking ownership, therefore not being taxable.
It won't matter for this development.
Correct.
Zoning for this development is clearly in place.
Yeah.
It would be, if you were in agreement,
For future.
are there benefits to removing it and going back to standard subdivisions for a future subdivision?
And my
future
question for you, do we lose grant money somewhere? Is there something that,
No, you don't need to have an OSRD bylaw to participate in any grant that I know of.
Do you have any data to back do you have anything written down that kind of backs up the OSRD request?
Other than my request to you, no. I certainly wrote, I wrote proposed warrant articles that I would read at annual town meeting, should you be inclined. I think that clearly I know that the OSRD that's before us this evening plays no factor in this conversation. Frankly, although I've read our bylaws, I never really thought about the consequences of an OSRD. And now that it's before us, and I have attended almost every one of the planning board meetings, I missed one, but I'm following it closely, and I'm thinking really far down the road, and I'm thinking about some large parcels that we have in this town too that sit right on our beautiful scenic 133 that, sure, they're not for sale right now, but at some point they could be. And do we really want to see, the two big properties I think of is Hardy's Hatchery and the Aprilla Farm beside it. And at some point, if those go up for sale, they could be developed. And I realize, but do we want to see it more densely developed? Do we want to see a house on 40,000 square feet or on 10,000? Do we want it to look like a beautiful, picturesque Essex, or do we want it to look like downtown in a city, Somerville, Everett, whatever?
Ruth,
I would-
I'm gonna stop you because we
Sure.
do have a hearing, an open hearing that we have to
Absolutely.
do. If you want, we can either hold this and bring her back up after we do the open hearing for the James property.
You just bring, I mean, if you want to share anything, I'd love to see it, that's all.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't have,
You don't have to, you can.
You can just send it in to me and I'll get it to
Yeah,
them.
send it to Brendan.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Ruth, I think Ipswich has, they have a bunch of standard subdivisions, and they also have a couple of OSRDs. It would be interesting to compare tax. Obviously, they're not the exact same locations, but just to see how it is per parcel, or what the difference is.
So I'm going to recommend that the board move to open a public hearing regarding the change of manager
Oh.
request for the James, 55 Martin Street.
So moved?
No, that's 50, it's Martin, right?
It's 55.
Maine.
Says Martin on here. I didn't think that, yep. 55 Main Street.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Ingrid, would you like to come up to the mic? Sure. And just state your name and your address.
Inga Dowling, 80 Martin Street.
Does the board have any questions? Ingrid is going to be becoming it wasn't Stu's name, and now it's going to go in your name, is that
I
correct?
think it was in Mary's name, and now it's going to be in my name. Since I live right in town, Mary,
Yeah, I thought I saw here that it was going from Stu to you.
it's Mary to me, right?
Yeah,
There's too
my
many
name is
of us.
Stephanie Boudreau, I'm counsel for the James. I can just confirm that it is going from Mary Kiley to Inga.
Do you want to just handwrite?
It's
it?
noted on the page of the application, the last,
reasoning?
like, manager.
What is the reason?
Just because Mary lives in Brighton and I live in town, and it's just more,
Proximity,
better
yeah.
for being in here if
Yeah.
need be.
And are you on any of the other properties, like the Salties?
I don't think so. No, I think this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the board have any questions?
Are you on the one in Concord? or
No,
whatever it
nope.
is?
This would be it. I believe that's Stewart.
Yeah.
Probably legal.
Is
Yeah.
Stephanie with you? I'm sorry, there was a person speaking, I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Sorry, I don't know if you can see me, but I can see you guys.
Okay. So it's transferring management,
Yes.
great.
The manager of record is being transferred from Mary to Inga. That's the only change being requested.
Okay.
So Ingrid, we may have to end up calling you in. He's going to,
It says in the cover letter from you, Stephanie, please find an amendment application for Be More Hospitality LLC to change its manager of record from Mary Kiley to Inga Dowling.
okay, well, that's what they want to do. Why
Yep.
does it say Stuart Henry?
No, he was signing the permission for her to be
Okay.
the manager.
Okay, thank you. So, and
Now I recommend that you seek public comment either for or against,
okay.
if any.
As this is an open hearing, is there anybody in the room that has a public comment? Not seeing anybody raise their hand. Is there anybody online that has a public comment? Not seeing anybody. Okay. Now, do we close the hearing to take the vote?
Yes, and so you can do that, and I have a recommendation for the vote.
So I'm going to close the hearing.
Well,
If
you
there's-
want a motion.
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So do I sit down? No.
They're
I'm sorry,
they're
I'm
gonna
not-
just vote now. So
Okay.
my recommendation is that if the board is inclined to grant this change, that it be subject to the town's conduct of a Corey check. I know that you had to do it for the state,
Yep.
but we have it in our local regulations as well.
Sure.
So moved, is that,
Yeah, that will work.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So it's been granted. If you can come see me sometime, give me a call,
Sure.
all right?
Yeah, no problem. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Okay, regarding the two warrant articles that the public is requesting, do you want to decide if these should be added, one should be added?
Well, you'll be talking about the warrant itself
In a few
later.
minutes,
if
we'll
you-
do it then?
If there's
Okay.
nothing else for,
But we didn't even know what these were, so I don't want to vote on something that
And
we
that's-
didn't even know
that's
about
the
before the
discussion.
meeting.
and you don't have to vote on it.
Okay.
When you start talking about the warrant, if any of the board members
Yeah.
want to talk about these suggestions, you can. If you don't, and you want to think about it more,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to. I know that the librarian's here, and I don't know if she wants to wait all night for,
But can I just ask, so as a citizen's petition, they can still put it on, correct?
if the board decides that they're not inclined to do so, yes.
Okay, so it's either us or a citizen's petition.
What the,
Us or them?
what the,
We get a lot of that, us and them.
what a citizen's petition cannot do is put something on the ballot, okay? And it's important, because if we get a citizen's petition and it comes in on the last day, the day that you're going to sign the warrant, is the board going to be inclined to also put the language required for repeal on the ballot, which is all within the same document that gets signed that night?
So what triggers a ballot?
In this case, the statute that required the Community Preservation Act to have both a town meeting vote and a referendum
Yeah.
also requires the same process to reverse it. So it's usually a matter of the statute that's in control. In this case, it's a two-part process, in or out.
So does the change in a surcharge require a ballot vote?
I believe it did when we did it, yes.
I mean, from, well, it went
This
from
is a
0.5
repeal.
0.5
To 1.5,
So
I
if we
believe there
wanted-
was a ballot vote, yes.
Okay, so if we want to reduce it instead of
You could reduce
eliminating-
it, you could eliminate it, you could do nothing. What I'm saying is, there's a possibility
Read the ballot,
that a
no,
petition
yeah.
article comes in, and the vote on it won't happen until you get convinced that you want to.
Right.
So can I just ask you, with the CPA money, does the state match any of that? Did it match any of that?
The state does, but it was the real rich match, if you will, was in the first few years of the program. After that, when a lot of communities started to get involved and enroll in the program, the match got split more and more ways, and so therefore, the match dwindled for every community in the program over time.
So this is asking to repeal the surcharge altogether, not
Yeah.
give a,
Correct.
not give a relief to seniors.
It's
Which
to
is- which
repeal
is
the
a
entire
pot-
thing. That's what it's
I'm not in
asking
support
for.
of that at all.
No, I'm not either. I'm not in support of repealing it altogether. I could be convinced to reduce the surcharge, because once you get rid of it, you're not gonna get
Yep,
back.
no.
And we wanna potentially have, we don't know what's coming in the future. and
Well,
we
and
might
also,
wanna
if you want
raise money.
affordable housing, that's a significant.
Right.
Also, there is a possibility to do some relief for seniors, so that's later in our agenda, but there is some
I saw that in
maneuvering you
there.
can do here. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of the tax money. I mean, we've been looking at this for a while, and I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I feel the same way. It's like, oh, do we cut off our nose to spite our face if we do this? But, okay, so we'll hold off till we get to the warrant and discuss that. So this is,
The Personnel Board matter?
Board. Since Carla's here and we don't want to have her stay the whole night with us. Carla, we're going to bring up the subject of the Personnel Board for the Assistant Library. Right? Is that what I'm doing? Yes, Assistant Librarian.
The job description.
Position description?
Position description, right. So, Carla, do you mind going to the microphone in case they have questions? So my understanding is that you're looking to make this change prior to hiring the next person? So
Yes,
that they
that's-
will know exactly what the detailed job description
Oh, and
has.
Carla Christensen, 15 School Street, Library Director, for the record. Yes, I'm looking to update it ahead of filling the position.
And the board looked at this at the last meeting and then asked me to take a look at it. And really, my only recommendation is that in a position description, we don't put the proposed wage, because that belongs in the wage and salary scale, which is currently 2276 to 2777, a little different than what's here. And we don't need a closing date or how to apply. That would, of course, be. But beyond that, if the board has questions about the specifics, this would be a great time to ask. I don't have any other comments on
My
it.
only comment, Carla, was the fact that this seemed like it was like, and you're gonna wash windows, and you're gonna, it had so much information in it. And having looked at job descriptions online for assistant librarian, they had condensed it and consolidated it. But Brendan looked it over, he felt that there's nothing wrong with it, so,
Yeah, I mean, what I've tended to see is that the smaller the library, the wider the scope. Just because you might be the only one there that day, and when the pipe bursts and the fire alarm goes off, you're dealing with it. So more recently, you see a little more maybe comprehensive coverage, so people know, sort of the extent that we'll be expecting from them.
You don't feel this will scare people off because it is pretty comprehensive?
No.
Okay.
and is this, so this is just to replace the job description, which we've been trying to update job descriptions because they were a little bit lacking. And this is just to replace it. Right now, you're not looking to hire a new assistant, is that correct?
As soon as this is approved,
They
I will
are.
be looking
They
They
to.
are. So she
Yes.
wanted to get this
Yeah.
done
Yep,
prior to doing that, so that the new person knows what the job entails.
okay.
Can I ask a politically incorrect question?
Sure.
So, I looked at this and I thought, is this gonna make the job more challenging and then more costly? Do you know what I mean? And is there an opportunity for kind of the may perform, or kind of building the fuzziness in that, from one day to the next, you could be doing, this very complicated thing, or this very simple thing that is, do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to create something that is so hard that it's like, we can't find anyone to do this.
Right. I would say that most of the libraries around here, their assistant librarian looks very much like this.
Okay.
I'm not worried, actually. I could certainly adjust it to include, duties may include.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the.
I know what you mean,
Yeah.
absolutely. The bigger challenge is that they're all part-time positions. You all know that. I don't need to give you that lecture, yeah.
Yeah, because from one day to the next, it's not always going to be consistent. But
Right.
I appreciate the thoroughness of this.
It was time. I think we'd done it in probably 2019 or 2020, and the world has changed a lot since then. Yeah.
These are hard to write too, so.
So, do we want to
Sure.
vote to approve it as is, or do we want to have it,
As
Contingent-
marked up by Brendan.
did you mark that?
You
Yeah.
did
I
mark
did,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
He just cut out the last item.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I entertain a motion to accept the job description, but what I'm asking is, do you want her to make the changes to do the may, or?
I would just put something in the preface, after position description and job functions may include.
Yes, absolutely, okay.
Fair enough?
Yes.
So did you make the motion?
No.
So I entertained a motion to accept the job description with some minor changes, including the adding may include, and also for Brendan's updates, which was that the salary goes under wage and salary, and the update date should be 2/9.
So moved.
Second.
Brendan, can I just ask a question? I was just going to remove those at the end.
Yeah, and
Because
so
they're not
all you're
part
doing
of
is
the-
removing that, updating the
Right.
date.
Right.
I'll give you a copy of what they're talking about tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then when you post it, those things, I don't know where you post for librarians?
she'll do a vacancy announcement that says, position description is available, but all those other things will be in that, so.
Right, got it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
Thank
Colin, for
you.
coming in.
Thanks, Carla.
Do you want to continue with the town administrator's report?
Yes, please.
Okay, working group to study senior citizen tax relief. At the, one of the things that is a goal,
Did you do the follow-up with respect to the Board of?
yeah,
Public-
that's all going to be wrapped into one meeting.
One thing,
Yeah.
okay.
So at the last meeting, the board and I agreed that I would, let's see here, yeah, set a goal to help bring this type of working group together to study what different options are available in addition to things that the town already has for senior tax relief. Now, in looking at the town meeting warrant, there was a suggestion made that a certain law be adopted by the town, and that's on the draft warrant, that would allow individuals or private entities to donate money to a fund that could be managed by a committee that would determine which eligible people should get a portion of that money. My suggestion is, if you're going to go through with that, if the board wants to put that on the warrant, that comes with a predefined set of people for a committee anyway. You could use that committee to manage that fund, but also be your sounding board for new things. There would be nothing preventing that committee from doing something in addition to managing that fund. Otherwise, if this comes to fruition, you could have two boards that are working
Yeah,
on.
And I don't want two boards, but I don't even, for myself, I want to know what the charter's going to be. I want to know what is going to be the criteria, and then making sure that there's no ramifications to that person for, as far as receiving funds, and does that hurt their Medicare?
Right, and I
Does that
provided
hurt-
an example of how another town did it. That
Right.
doesn't mean you have to do it that way.
Right.
So the question is, and you're going to get to the warrant pretty soon, does the board feel like it's something you want to entertain for the warrant? Because if you do, then the discussion should go that perhaps this committee gets charged with looking for other new things after May, once you know whether the town adopts.
So I'm not sure that I like the idea of one committee, just because the study of determining what the combination, right, what is the perfect combination, there's never going to be a perfect combination, but what is the best combination of what we already have and what we could potentially have, requires some data kind of analysis. And I don't know if the persons who would be determining who would get what from the trust are necessarily the same skill sets. Does that make sense to you?
But the treasurer is defined as one of the people.
Yep.
And that's the person that you would want to do that analysis.
Right, so the trust, which is the proposed thing to go on the warrant, has like specific roles.
Right.
But I don't know if the group that would be doing the analysis of what tax relief programs should we, what's the best combination, is necessarily the same skill set.
Okay, well-
That's
Yep.
kind of what I'm.
Who would be that? Is
I
that-
would
we
say
have to
you would want to
figure
have
that out.
somebody on the finance committee who has some
Right.
serious data analysis skills, because
Yeah.
you'd want to know what are the tax impacts of doing this or that,
Right.
or the combination of this or
Yeah.
that. You know, Mike Flynn is a pretty good data person, but he's also a veteran, and he really he cares about veterans, and there's a lot of veterans programs, so I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you got the group that did the study from the senior center. They have pretty good knowledge of what's going on, but would they necessarily, could they serve on that trust committee if they're deciding who's going to be getting the money?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to think about, and then
I agree. I think it's complicated, and you might need to have, like you said, more than one committee.
But I think that, so there's now hearing this, I'm thinking, why would we put it on the ballot until we define and be able to speak to it?
Define what?
Maybe hold off putting it on the ballot until November, so that we can make sure that we
Put the committee together before
decide-
that and
right.
come
Do
up
your,
with
do your
something.
data analysis and then bring the trust forward?
Right.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that.
yeah.
It's gonna take you a while to set up the trust and figure out what you need to do. Especially, the other thing is, what is the administrative
Right,
impact
that's
of
what
that?
my concern is.
Yeah, and I think that that's the other thing, is the administrative impact of some of the programs. And I think that, like, the not work study, what is it called?
Yeah, in lieu of tax work.
Yeah, that does require some, like, administrative aspects of it, who's
yeah.
gonna do it.
And then what is it gonna go to? Like, what would this trust,
The trust, what do you mean?
what would the money in the trust be paying?
Well, if you look at the Danvers option, I think it goes to their property taxes. But there's other, there are other communities that have done it. And, Brendan, you've presented one, but, we could look at other options. That's what that committee can start doing at first. Maybe you give them the first
Well, and I
task.
say that because although, having it go to your taxes is fine, but I know I also talked to some of the seniors and their life support things, their, help, I'm falling, I can't get up buttons.
Yeah. Life alert.
That's like 100, I think 120, 110 a month that they have to pay. So I'd rather see a trust that helps the person the way they want to be helped. If we're going to do it to its taxes, how many tax
Yeah.
deferred can you do before it's truly,
Well, that's a whole nother committee.
That
to
is, that is
evaluate
part of
that.
the, okay.
Okay, so it sounds like you're looking to maybe try the fund that's under the general laws in November. And prior to that, you're looking to set up or bring together this more of an ad hoc group.
Yeah,
So, in order for me to help facilitate that, I need to know the types of individuals that you want to have. Annie, you've mentioned somebody from the Finance Committee. You mentioned a group from the Senior Center that has done some work on it. Are there other people that you want me to start to look at and question about whether they have interest?
I think that I had, I think I put some in this slide deck, and I can't remember specifically. Can we seat a small working committee consisting of representatives from the Board of Assessors, Council on Aging, Finance Committee, and Board of Selectmen to explore guidelines and financial implications to any of these programs, conduct public outreach, and bring forward a suggested program to residents? So, you said the treasurer would be kind of by default. Are you saying that
Yeah,
that?
it's, I can tell you
In
exactly.
the Danvers one, right?
yeah.
Well, no, by statute, okay? So if you look at your draft town meeting warrant,
What one is, what number?
I'll tell you, 1 second. It is Article 16, and it talks about a taxation aid committee, and by statute, that has to be the chairman of the Board of Assessors, the town treasurer, and 3 residents of the town to be appointed by this Board of Selectmen, and then they adopt rules and regulations like you saw Danvers did.
Yeah.
Or some other town.
And that's for the trust, though.
That's
Right.
for
That's
implement.
not necessarily for the ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
Right, the ad hoc could be any, but I was just trying to show you this in
Yeah, yeah.
case you wanted any overlap.
Well, you think I mean, the assessors and the treasurer, I think, sound logical. I think somebody from the Finance Committee would be logical, and from the Senior Center as well.
All right, so let me feel that out so that you can start trying to, get together that list of names. Are you looking for anyone else, somebody from
I would say just a citizen,
Yeah.
non-affiliate.
a senior citizen, perhaps? I mean, this is who it affects. All right,
Or even, somebody with a disability.
okay. All right, I'll look into that. And
here's my question. So we have the Housing Authority. Like, I'm trying to understand how many more committees can we have before we run out of our 3,600 residents in town, or more than likely, one resident doing 7 jobs, which is already the case with
Which
all
is
of
more
our.
Well, I think we
likely.
don't need to pick the same 7 people.
Well, you would, well, my feeling is, yeah, you would, for at least.
Let's see what we get. You know, I mean, it can be inquiry, and if nobody wants to do it, then we gotta reassess.
This is important because for years, we've had this false kind of tension between the seniors and students. You know, like you're picking one or the other. And the reality is that's not what people are doing. So let's try to find some way to put together some package that benefits seniors so that we can point to where we are helping them.
So I guess that there's a part of me that says there is already a lot that is available to seniors. Now, when I talked to Patty, she said not very many go after them. So is it because they don't have the knowledge to go after it? And maybe what we do first step is get a group together to do a program, the friends to do a program so that they understand all of these and what it's like. I know that when I looked over some of them, I'm like, I'm gonna do all this work for $150? Why would I do that? You know, I mean, some of them are better, but
And some of it is they don't want to disclose information as well, you know, so there's a
It's
lot
a
of.
pride
different
thing.
things. Yeah.
And people need to know that their information is confidential when they, so what do we put in place to make sure that people's information is confidential? And, I mean, I think that's a holistic process of kind of like building trust and providing
It's gonna
opportunities.
take a little while.
Yeah,
It
I
may
don't-
not
yeah.
even be ready in November. And it speaks to some of the, I think what Ruth was driving at with her 2 warrant articles is to reduce
Yeah.
taxes to some degree, and this alleviates a little bit of that burden.
For senior citizens, if, yeah.
Yeah.
I see Ann's here, and I don't know,
Yeah.
Ann, are you here for this subject? Is there any comment you wanted to make, or? At the mic, hon.
Hi, Ann Buckley, 3 Orchard Road, and I'm also a board member for the Council on Aging. Thank you. No, this is a very timely and very pertinent topic, and I appreciate all of the work that you're doing to be so thoughtful, and I know there's a lot of conversation generated around this. If we go back to the study that we did with UMass last summer, it was very clear if you saw the comments that came attached as a separate attachment, which are posted on the town website as well. Of the 575 plus comments that we got, tax relief was probably the #1 category. It was also highlighted for us by the folks from UMass as well. It is definitely all of the above for everything that you've said. There are all of the reasons why people are not necessarily applying for what's available to them already is a combination of knowledge. It's also a combination of thresholds there. So there are some thresholds that people don't meet. And so the question becomes where some of the frustrations or tensions that Annie referred to, which were also noted in a lot of the comments as well, has very much to do with feeling that there isn't much that they can necessarily do the way things are now. And there is a desire, a strong desire to be able to participate fully in everything, whether it's the school initiatives and remain secure in their housing and aging in place. So there's a real fine dance there. I think the exploration piece is really going to be important, and it may take some out-of-the-box thinking, and then from out-of-the-box thinking maybe comes better questions, and from the questions maybe we get better research and better options for that. So I think an ad hoc group even is a wonderful idea, because I think conversation starter is going to be really important, because we've not been here before, and clearly within 3 budget cycles we will be at a little over 40% if the numbers hold for over 60. And that's those folks over 60, which right now it's knocking on the door of about 1,300 residents. I don't know how many households that actually represents, but say 1,300 residents maybe by the end of this calendar year is where we could very well be. Of that 1,300, it represents 3 generational cohorts. Those born before 1945, the largest cohort between 1945 and 1964, and we are now on year 2 of the Gen X cohort, entering into that 60 plus. So it's 3 generations, very different needs, very different concerns. So I think dialogue, conversation, and a group to help us flesh that out a little bit might not be a bad idea.
So I'm hearing from 2 members that you want the ad hoc committee. Alva, I don't know, after that discussion, are you also in favor? Or?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so I will move forward with the goal that has been set at the last meeting, and I'll provide you with the makeup of that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Can you also attach the slide deck that has some really good data from the assessor's office to the minutes? Because it did blow that PowerPoint out into a lot of, but there's a lot of detail in there that you had.
But I
noted.
will ask you.
The slide
Brendan-
deck or the chart?
The slide
The
deck
chart.
or the chart. The slide deck is fine, too.
Okay.
I would ask that you check with the assessor. I did forward it to her just to make sure she didn't see anything that concerned her. So,
Oh, she gave it to me in the
She
first
gave it.
place.
no, she didn't give you the slide deck. Annie gave you the slide deck.
And she gave me the chart with all
correct,
the existing
correct.
things.
And I gave you
And I
this,
plugged that into the slide deck.
Yeah, it's the same, it's the exact same thing. Okay, I'll do that. The next item is outsourcing of IT duties. This is not for
Thanks,
now.
Marianne.
thank
This-
you, Ann.
This would potentially be toward my retirement, and I looked at what it would cost for the North Shore IT Collaborative to do the things that I do day to day right now, and around that time, you should figure about additional $50,000.
So I have a question for you in
year.
regards to, we have a new resident in town on Martin Street that has a sign that he's BOS-IT, and I didn't know, do you need a certain, somebody who does municipality IT? Do you look?
The North Shore IT Collaborative is so dialed in
Okay.
to what our insurance companies want and what our lawyers want, and yeah, that's the place to go. You don't want to reinvent that.
So you're saying it's $50,000 today, 2026?
But no, by the time we need it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying roughly 50 grand,
Yeah, so
okay?
can we talk about this?
Sure, you can pay me 50 grand. No, this is-
Wow.
That'll be his second job.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
Retirement job.
so we're going to be out looking for somebody.
No,
You're not going to find a town administrator that will be your IT officer,
And a lot of other things. I
and
know.
and some other
Yeah.
things, right?
I mean, it's just like the cost of this is going to be,
It would cost, if you brought in a part-time IT officer,
yeah.
they're going to be 60 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Full-time, you're going to be $110,000, $120,000.
Yeah.
So one of the questions, my thoughts was, I don't think we should wait. I think we should wait like a year and a half before you leave. We bring them in and meet, at that point. But no, really, because so they,
I don't know if you need to spend a year's worth of money on it.
Isn't it just going, the North Shore Collaborative, IT Collaborative, would take over the responsibilities?
The day-to-day responsibilities.
Yeah. So it's not like we're hiring a person, we're just hiring the group.
It'll be,
we are hiring a person if we go with the third tier. What I'm saying, he goes and changes hardware. He goes and,
yeah, that would all be included in the high tier.
and I would kind of like to get the budgetary started before you leave so that
That's
it's
okay, yeah.
all, that would be my personal opinion.
If you want to do that, then that would be fiscal year 30.
You know what, I just don't want to have it go when, even just like with the harbor master, it went from, they cut the budget down so low and then all of a sudden it jumped up.
Would that be a capital or an operational cost? It'd be an operational cost.
Operational cost.
There's no capital part of it, huh?
No, capital is on top of that. So
Right.
when you have to replace servers, switches, like I've done all along.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives you an idea. That's what you
Yeah.
want.
Thank you, I
All right?
appreciate that. It was well done.
Brendan's underpaid as usual.
Yeah. So now we're talking about the public safety building. The stain on the cedar shingles at the public safety building is peeling. While that may have started to peel prematurely, the product that was applied, I have verified, only has a life of about 5 years. Max, it's 3 to 5 years. And we chose it.
Why?
At the time, this is what was being,
But we
Okay.
haven't closed the budget. We
no,
haven't closed
so
the
I
budget.
see two viable options here. A complete stripping of those shingles and the application of a much more robust coating product, or you go and you put the vinyl shakes on that look like the cedar shingles, but they're going to be a life of 50 to 60 years.
How long is a good product? Could we
I
get
I
20,
doubt
25
I doubt
years?
you're going to get anything more than 10, 15. But what I can do, my recommendation is going to be, get from the people that we already have on contract, which is Copeland
Yeah,
Building Envelope
right.
Consultants, to tell us, here's the most robust thing we can think of, and here's what it will cost, versus here's what it will cost to put vinyl on.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I think that I probably have those same shingles on the back of my house, and even though I have stain, it peels every year. Every year I have to scrape it and put more paint on it. Not the whole thing, just spots. It's not pretty, it's just big brown spots show up. And my builder, my contractor at the, said to me, whoever put these on, they used the wrong stain in the first place.
Yeah, so now
So
nothing in
it
here.
happens, but whether or not we go with stripping it and sanding it, will
Well, do
it?
you want a cost on both?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Can
I don't, go ahead.
Do you mind?
No.
OPM, did you say you didn't like the OPM? Okay, so we're not asking them. The Copeland is a trustworthy,
Copeland is not related to the original project at all.
oh, they came in after.
Yeah.
They're a consultant that's been looking at some of the problems independently.
Okay, all right. Okay,
All right, so I'll do that. Next, we did get good news on the street excavation material stockpile at the DPW yard. The sampling shows, and the results of the sampling shows, that the material there can be used as common fill. Since that is the case, there's a number of options that the Board of Public Works can consider. One would be to use it for maintenance on the cap to the closed landfill. They can't get so far as to be reconstructing anything, but they can use it to maintain the cap. It could be used if we're going to build a road through Apple Street. It could be offered to third parties to come and just truck it away. It could be used in some other way, or you could pay for it to go to a recycling facility, but there's actually no technical reason to do that. I don't see why you'd want to do that.
So we can just leave the pile there and use it as needed?
You can, yes.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to want a program from the Board of Public Works to say, we're not going to make it any worse. And I can tell you this, the engineer already said, do not dump even a bucket full of anything else there, because that invalidates the sampling, because you could be
Oh.
contaminating it
Yeah.
with something that wasn't tested.
Okay, and so the DPW would, because I know that there's some areas over by the landfill, is that something that they're putting on their list to decide what to do with it, or?
Yes, it has to go to their meeting, and they have to determine whether what can be done on the landfill is reconstruction versus maintenance. If it's maintenance, they can put it on there. If
Without
it's-
DEP?
Right, if it's
approval and all?
reconstruction, they have to apply for a
Yeah,
permit and
yeah,
go through
We want to avoid
DEP.
that at all
I
costs.
think we do, yes.
so I have a question about the fill you referred to in the notes. If you put some of this stuff down, I mean, the transfer station is pretty close to the marsh. Is it sensitive? I mean, I'm assuming it's sensitive land in terms of,
It's not going to be put down within either 100 feet from a wetland or 200 feet from a river.
okay, and we know where those things are?
Yes.
They're all marked off?
Yes.
I just don't want to trigger a problem. And I
Right.
really would, I mean, not that it's our decision, but I also would not want other folks to take from it and have to be responsible for any, like, something, you mentioned it, if there's something in there that's,
If you were going to do that, we would have to do a waiver,
yeah, no, yeah,
so.
okay. Thanks I'm
we sell
glad,
it?
good news.
Yeah,
Can we sell
is
it to
good
Phil?
news.
Can, anybody need?
I wouldn't sell it because
$300,000 good news.
Yeah, can I just ask one stupid question? The sifting, you said something about it has to be.
So if it was going to be used to patch the cap on the landfill, since they mow the landfill,
Yeah,
it would have to be screened, otherwise rocks would be hit by the mower every time they went through there.
like Gordon Martin in the backyard.
Because every year that freeze thaw, if there are rocks, even if they're buried, they start to come up.
Do
So
we
you'd
have
wanna sift it.
is there like a sift, is there a
They have a
sift?
screener, yeah, they have a,
Green.
yeah.
Can I ask, based on Bill Geis's comment, so you two don't believe that you should try and get it capped, get it approved as being capped, or? I tell you, I say this because, oh, what a perfect piece of
But,
land
Alva, I
to
can-
put solar panels or something that nobody's gonna be walking on.
I don't know what you can put on a landfill.
Nothing unless it's been declared by the DEP as being officially capped and closed to
What
their
can you-
standards.
And what can you put on it then?
You could put solar and things like that.
You can.
But in order to get to the DEP's official closure of a landfill could cost you hundreds of thousands
Right.
or millions of dollars.
Right. Yeah.
We keep saying those types of things, and I get it, but at the same time, we keep going,
Okay,
later,
so
we'll be later.
that's what the Board of Public Works has done for decades. The only way for the selectmen to understand what that might cost is to hire an engineering firm to actually do the analysis and tell you that. That's the only way. And right now, there are no funds appropriated for that.
I agree, I agree. If there's a grant out there or something, I just feel that we have this land that, okay, so, in other countries, they cap it and put a playground on it. I don't want a playground. Manchester's putting a soccer field on this.
Essex could do that too, if it went through the
Yeah, but
proper
look at where it
procedure.
is. We don't want to
No, that's why I'm saying
It has to
solar
be
would
something-
offset some of our bills.
potentially, yeah.
A greenhead playground, that's what you would call it.
Yeah, right.
It really would be.
In July.
Yeah, closed for the month of July.
So, no, I am not looking for it to be on the warrant, but I want us to think about those things, but keep saying, oh, well, let's not do it. If there's a reason,
You have to get a complete engineering analysis. If you want to do that, it's something that I could put on a list.
What's the cost with something like that?
I don't know, you'd have to actually ask, we'd probably go with Weston and
I think we
Sampson.
got a lot on our plate right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, next is the budget collaboration meeting that was held recently, last week. And Alva, you participated in that, and Annie, I know you came to observe. Peter, I don't think you were
No.
on the line. And I don't know whether there was any additional discussion or commentary that the board wanted to have about that.
one of the questions I had, because it was, I guess I heard it before and just maybe didn't pay attention. So Jody had said about, the E and D. If it goes above 5% of your operating budget, then it has to go back to
In
the
a school,
towns?
in a school district, you can only carry that amount of money, 5% of your budget in E&D, and otherwise it gets put back into to defray the cost, yes.
Okay. And what I looked at is multiple budget years, and although, the school has put it in as being used, then the next year it's back up to where it was the year before, or as close as possible.
Right, we did look at whether the school follows that convention, and we have traced it back, and they do. They've never had it above that because of the rule.
Okay. Annie, did you have any questions regarding
I
that?
didn't have any questions. I was happy to see what they had done to bring the budget down, and I'm hoping that we can see some more savings and bring us down to a number that doesn't put us in an override. And I think the message was pretty clear.
So I guess I got the feeling that, like, with the school committee member asking for a guarantee, I was unclear about what did they really want us to guarantee that.
Can I speak to that? Because I talked to somebody after this and I said, don't look for guarantees from either town. And the reality is that you can say for the next 3 years, this is what we'd like to do. But the reality is, remember 2017 when we went to the committee meeting before the Manchester Town meeting, and it was like, bam, the insurance rates had gone up, or you get a kid moving in who's got very expensive in terms of outplacement.
Right.
I think that, best laid plans, it would be great if you could commit to the 3-year thing and, go forward, but I think you've got a good budget now. Go for it, reduce it if you can, and I just don't think guarantees are.
Well, I didn't know if that guarantee meant,
I think it got released from the story.
if they were looking for us, and I'm going to use this bad word, but to be the cheerleaders because, oh, look, they brought it down, or, I'm like, we can't.
I don't think that I think it's an exercise in futility,
Okay.
right? Don't you? I mean, we're glad to see a lower budget. I think that's fantastic. Thank you. That was kind of how I left it.
Yeah.
So merging this with the next item, right now, the school district's budget, unless they find more savings for their meeting that is tomorrow night, I believe, when they're going to vote on the budget request, Manchester, the increase to Manchester's apportionment is 3.74%. The increase to Essex's apportionment is 4.03%. And right now, the Finance Committee is predicting that for the school, they'll need, an override will be necessary in the amount of around $230,000.
I hope they can bring it, remember that the budget vote into February is the high water mark. They can always bring it down. And I would love to send the message, if you can bring it down, that would be ideal. We do not want to have an override for schools this spring. That's my
I'm glad to
position.
hear that, because that's how I feel. And, we use the term right-sizing when we're trying to get money, and we should also use the term right-sizing when we're trying to reduce
Yeah.
and see what we can do.
Okay, so now you have reached the draft town meeting warrant.
Second.
Are there particular articles that you had comment on?
Can we kind of just blow through this? When do we have to have this thing finished?
The selectmen are scheduled to sign this on March 23rd.
Okay.
So you have
A month and a half, yeah.
3 more meetings, well, 2 more and then signed at
Yep.
the 3rd.
Yeah, I guess the first question I had was about this note in yellow.
Article 3?
No,
You mean in the-
this right here at the very top.
Right.
I don't have yellow.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
This.
yeah.
what is that going to be there, or
No.
okay? What is that there for?
What do you mean? If you,
This was something you referred to in the notes about.
if you're
this.
going to vote on an override, no, those words are not going to be there. That's a note to you.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is
why it's in
This
yellow.
is highly unusual. Yeah.
No, that will become, if they do need an override, then it will become an article number. And it will-
Well, it's 2 things, right?
Or is it coming in the preface?
This first page of the warrant has to do with
Oh, putting it
the
on the
ballot.
Oh.
Then you'll see in the document 2 places where town meeting would vote.
You
Because
mean it says there, right there, ballot? Yeah, I missed that.
we use a combined warrant for the, which you can only do for an annual, but you can combine the ballot and the town meeting warrant in one document, which we've been doing forever. So that's what you're seeing on the first page.
And you would tease this up, even though there are specific articles to each of these things?
Yes.
You tease this up to the front?
Because it's a ballot article.
It's,
Okay.
the ballot is always on page 1.
Okay.
It's a separate part of the document,
Okay,
okay?
thank
And
you.
that's to say that it's okay to be on the ballot for our
That's, you're putting it on the ballot by signing this warrant. And notice that we don't have numbers yet, and the same would be true for the articles. So then if you start going down through the articles, we have, let's see here.
I asked you some specific questions about some stuff,
Yeah.
too.
Do you want to start with those?
I've got to get it open. Sorry, I have to get the email open. I apologize.
I'll just say, following up from the ballot, Article 3 would be where the town's override at town meeting would be handled, in the order that I've currently given it to you, at least. And Article 6 would be where the school portion would be handled at town meeting, okay? Those are the companion,
So the override is coming before the school in the articles.
Well, we always have two articles for the school, right?
Right.
We have one, which is the budget, and then
regular
one
right,
is-
they're
yeah.
paired up. And so what you have is, in Article 3, a question to the town as to whether the town, for the municipal budget, wants to override Proposition 2.5, and that would get added to what is in Article 4, which would be the portion of the budget that you could afford without an override.
Right.
If you look at Article 6, you can see that is just before the article where, in Article 7,
Yeah.
which is the portion of the school budget you could afford without an override.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we did with the school override last year. This year, right now, the Finance Committee is anticipating 2 overrides, one municipal and one for the school.
When we send that in, does that go into 2 line items in the DLS, or?
Okay, so if the town meeting approves both the override
Yeah.
and the regular amount of the budget, and then the referendum says yes as well, then in the budget, there's one line item for that amount of money. With respect to the Department of Revenue, it gets recorded as a separate override and added to the Proposition 2.5 levy the following year.
So going back to what the school talk about, so Manchester was asking, are you sure you have enough? I'm just wondering, they're saying that they're possibly going to have a town override.
They said
But they
that-
normally do, in the past, I remember them putting their school and their town override in one.
That can be done
Article.
here as well. You could combine them all in one. But
Yeah.
you run the risk maybe that because a majority of people don't like it combined, that you get nothing.
Yeah. They do theirs always structurally
But I'm
different
trying to
than we do.
So I saw that they had 2 overrides, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure that, it says on the DLS that it's school, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure. So I just didn't know whether or not, when you report it, whatever one's the higher override is the one.
Yeah, the DOR usually reports the purpose for which you approved it for in year 1. After that, an operational override can be used for any purpose.
Okay.
Is there an estimate for the town override amount yet?
I'm thinking that it's going to be similar, but we don't have, there's a Finance Committee meeting
Similar,
tomorrow
around
night.
2:30.
Similar amount, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it could be a little more, a little less, until they whittle down the budget and tell us,
Right.
who's getting what, it's not known. It's premature.
So I had a question, I'd asked you about the wage and salary scale, and you'd give me some feedback on that, but when is the last day for folks who are proposing anything to get? I mean, it seems like there's still some up in the air kind of stuff.
Change the wage and salary scale. The selectmen you're scheduled to, on the 23rd, also vote on a recommendation for the wage and salary scale. Now, you could delay that a little, but not much, because it goes in the town meeting booklet that has to go to the printers.
So preferably by March,
When you say.
Middle of March, yeah, you got to know.
the latest.
In advance of this, there's going to be an agenda item to vote on the wage and salary scale on March 23rd.
Yeah.
So anything that comes in previous to that can be considered when you discuss it that night.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come to you with something that, with all the known entities on it. If you want to change it, you can vote it as amended. So,
By our March 9th meeting, we would like people to have given us any.
yeah, given the fact that the recommendation for the wage and salary scale is yours,
Yeah.
then you get, set the rules for it, yes.
Don't you think the 9th is like drop dead?
Sure, it should be. Not the day we're voting on it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So that's a month.
Okay. Oh, it is a month.
Yeah, the thing about that is if something comes in and comes in late and I have to do comps on it, I won't have any
Well,
for
so
you.
that's one of the things, Brenda, that I think you do in comps is crazy. Like, if I want a set raise, I go to my boss and say.
Yeah, but I'm going
"That
to
one
check them
doesn't
anyway,
work."
Alva. I'm going to check
I
them
know,
anyway,
right.
independently,
Yeah.
so.
No, I got a substantial raise one time, and I did all the comps
Yeah.
for people because of the jobs that I was doing.
I'm going to be involved no matter whether it starts with someone else or with me.
All right.
So, where are we in this? Because I have 8 and 9. Is everyone okay up to that point? 8?
Sure.
Yeah, those are standard articles that we have each year.
Okay, and then I had
Septic
asked,
Betterment Fund is standard. And then when you look at 11, 12, 13, and 14, these are just, is there a need to, 11 and 13, is there a need to put more money from their own retained earnings into the FY26 budgets for these two enterprise funds? 12 and 14 are the new ones for FY27.
okay.
And usually we don't need to use 11 and 13, but sometimes we do, like there's a sewer main break after the warrant's put together and you need it all of a sudden.
So you just keep it there and then you just say-
Indefinitely postpone.
Okay.
Indefinitely, yeah.
Can we talk about 15?
Yep.
So, when will we have this? Because,
Well, it comes from the Board of Public Works. I talked with Mandy about determining whether they think they're on track with the current setup.
Yeah.
And they're going to get back to me on it, but that's all I have.
okay,
Is this gonna be an annual assessment on the cost of the bags and stuff?
Well, I make sure that they look at it every time because
Yeah.
that's your window.
Right.
Because you got to set your budget up based on what you expect to bring in.
Right.
But does it have to appear? No, if the fees that they've got in place seem to be working,
Yeah.
then this article might come
We're
right
still
up.
feeling it out, yeah.
What I can tell you is that if you're going to change it, it has to be at a town meeting. They can't just change it independently.
Right.
but this has been a successful program, it's worked.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. They would need to tweak, hey, or maybe more people are now partaking, and so the fee can go down because there's more people sharing the load. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're going to look at all that.
Yeah, okay.
Zoning articles would go next, and as I mentioned, the state has this bylaw change that needs to be in everybody's bylaws for clean energy facilities, regardless of whether one is trying to come here. It's a change in state law. And the planning board is aware of that, and I know that Lisa O'Donnell is looking into it.
What would fall under a clean energy facility? What
I
is it?
think it could be anything from solar to wind. There's just some change in state law that's
Yeah.
requiring all towns to recognize it.
Okay. 16, you said we're going to pull for this spring?
You want to potentially put that on in the fall, right?
Yeah.
After the ad hoc committee does its work.
Yeah.
And this is a recommendation, well, we already knew about Article 17, which is just truing up the mooring regulations with what it says in the bylaw, okay? 18 just came to me from the harbor master. Instead of, jumping into a giant harbor use plan, he did find an example, this came out of Danvers. Of course, we would change this for Essex if you're interested in it. That you can charge a slip fee just by putting in a additional section in the bylaw. So this would be, somebody has a slip at a marina, so many dollars per foot. So it's $8 per foot right now for a mooring, but you could make this $5 per foot or something. This way, everybody who's using the river pays the town something for it, because just them paying the marinas to have a slip no money goes to the town.
So
Yet
it's
those boaters are
it's a fee
using
on top of it's a slip fee on top of the slip.
whatever
fee.
they pay the marina, yeah. And, I was talking to the
Kind
chief.
of like a town tax, correct?
Right.
No, it's not a tax.
No, it's not a
It's
tax.
a fee.
It's a fee.
It becomes an illegal tax if you don't do it right, and then it gets taken away from you. I talked to the chief today about this, and there are also marinas that have a rack system where you drive up and your boat is pulled off a rack and put in for you. That would also apply, as well as if you wanted to, There are marinas that have a seasonal pass to use their ramp,
Yeah.
and those people would pay a fee as well. So everybody who's using the river on a regular basis, except for residents who do not have a slip or a mooring, who are just launching at the town's
So how
ramp.
would they pay for that? So I don't, but I had a boat at one of the marinas. Do I have to do something additional to pay for?
The marina does,
Or does the marina?
I know the chief was looking at that. It says the fee is paid to the town of Essex, whether that's the marina collecting it and paying over, or the individuals, it probably could be done either way.
What is the justification for additional revenue?
Because right now, we're not covering all the revenue. So this year,
This will do it, or is he looking,
he thinks that it will.
what's he looking at for a per foot, do you think?
He was looking at $5 for people that aren't on moorings, instead of $8 per foot.
Yeah.
So the mooring fee is $8.
Is $8 per foot.
And then, so it's February, and people are gearing up for this summer. Is it too soon?
We have to vote for it in May. so-
You'd want to calculate this into revenue for the new fiscal year. These fees would not be charged until after July 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering, because administratively, those businesses would have to, I'm assuming that they would be, and that they would be charging, and then,
Unless it's done individually through DOCWA, which could be done.
yeah.
So it's a question of whether you want this concept. What we're doing this year is as I mentioned in the past, we're funding the harbor budget completely from the Waterways Fund.
Yep.
So all of the revenue that we were putting in the general fund is now going into the Waterways Fund, but the Waterways Fund has to now fund the entire operation.
Right.
And so, looking at this will close the gap for some of the things that we
What's he thinking this will bring in?
Well, look at how many slips we have. Just,
Well, yeah,
This
there's quite
may
a
be this-
few, and
this-
$5 a foot.
and what about, so I'm assuming
Tens of
since the
thousands.
marinas are private, it would be all of them. It could be over what used to be Shay's slips.
And the Kurt's,
Yeah, it could be any
concierge.
slip, yes, yes.
Well, and more than slip, because you said, like, I know that Kurt does you call and they.
Yeah, I don't know, does that
Yeah.
count? Does that count?
Yeah, that's what I'm
They're on-
saying.
They're on the trailer, and
Yeah,
he's
but-
just putting
so
it in.
It's
that's like a
launching, so
valet
it's
service.
Rack launching.
Right. And anyone who uses a seasonal ramp pass. So
Yeah.
what I can do is work with the chief for the next meeting to get an idea of what this
Right.
would bring in.
Yeah.
And all the different places.
Okay.
I think it's a great place to start.
Yeah, but I guess the other thing I'd want to know is, if a business can, because you've probably already, as a business, already determined what your fees are for this summer, right, at this point? So what does this do to the, I just want to think,
I would
let's be
say that if
conscious
it
of the-
goes on the individual level, it won't affect the business.
Yep.
If it has to be charged through the business, it's a good point, but I'll ask him about that.
Yeah, and maybe give a call to a couple people and just see
How they,
how they feel about it.
They're not gonna like it. They're not gonna like it.
No,
Well, I
he's
think the
saying-
other thing is, what is the benefit to have a healthy waterways fund or whatever services are given?
To
or-
defray the entire cost of it on the user as opposed to
The town.
the tax. That's what we're trying to do.
No, I'm
And
just saying, what is the benefit to people who are using the river of having whatever it is that we're funding, like the harbor?
Aids to navigation.
Yeah,
Whatever the resources the town puts in with respect to dredging, which we have put money into that. Response time for the harbor master when there's an emergency. There are a number of benefits.
I think it'd just be good to kind of
Lay those out.
lay those
I can
out.
get him to do
because
that,
it's
too.
not like you're just trying to,
You know what, I'm going to counter that with the fact that, you have to get building permits. Is there really a benefit to the human who's doing the building? No. But there's rules that you have to follow?
Well, if the house gets inspected and they find a problem, there's probably a benefit. I would say.
regulations are, they're good.
Faulty wiring is not a fun. fun
Yeah.
thing when you move in.
No, but thank you, Brennan, that's, just,
All right, so that's a possibility. I'll get more information. So then there's a whole list of capital items, many of them with respect to the water department. Realize that after the fall town meeting, there's only just shy of $300,000 in water enterprise retained earnings.
So do they want to prioritize? Because
They're going to need to, and I'm suggesting if you go all the way to Article 26, that the first money that they use should be the local match for the $1 million in the federal earmark that we're expecting. Otherwise, you're not going to leverage that money, you're going to lose it.
Right.
so can that be on the agenda of that conversation we're gonna have
It
with
will
them?
be.
And that's gone. That kills it, more or less, right? The whole enterprise amount.
No, because as I put here,
What is it? 283.
no, there's 283 available, okay? 70%,
83 or 273?
283, but we need 273.
we need
for a
273
match.
as a match, okay? But
we'll
30% of that
Yeah.
is generally comes out of the, of taxation because there's a benefit to the whole town. 70% of the number, which is 191, but that was based on 25% match.
Yeah.
I'm now told that it's a 20% match, so it'll be slightly less than this. So let's say 150 of the 300 grand is spoken for. Well, then they can't do many other things on their list.
Software in a truck.
Right, yeah.
So can I just ask you, isn't it the DPW that has to decide which of these, or is it us, the town, that decides?
The Finance Committee makes a recommendation back to you as to what they think you should put on the warrant for capital articles.
But the Board of Public Works should recommend, well, we don't have enough
Well, the
money.
Finance
This is
Committee's gonna meet tomorrow night. They're gonna go back to the Board of Public Works and say,
Hey,
you only have this much.
what do you
You
want?"
applied for all these things. We think, I assume they're gonna agree, you need to leverage the $1 million first.
Right.
Take that off the table, and then you have this left.
What
What
are
are
you
your
looking
priorities?
at? Yeah.
And then they'll prioritize, and then I think that will come back through finance to you, and that's what will end up on the warrant.
Yeah.
I'm showing you all the requests that were made.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
I have a few questions. So remember a few months ago, we had a list of capital purchases that were potential. And I didn't see them all coming in one year. Is this a different list?
So I had to go and collect from the town accountant what was turned in to the Finance Committee for capital requests.
Yeah.
That wasn't on the other list. This is me now telling you the list that came in.
I didn't think that they were, I mean, Alva, you were at that same meeting a few weeks ago with the FinCom, and they were going through each of those capital requests, and they're like, well, they're not necessarily all for this year, right? I thought they were dated, so.
They were made, no, Annie, they were made, I have the actual sheets from the DPW. They were made for this year,
Okay.
okay?
And, yeah, so they need to prioritize, but also, I just have a question about buckets, right? So this is all coming from the water enterprise retained earnings, but would never come from any other capital.
Which
Bucket.
thing, which thing are we talking about? Any of these? If it's water department related,
Yeah.
it has to come from water department retained earnings because it's supposed to be self-supporting.
Okay,
We generally do not use general fund money to help one of the enterprise funds because they have the ability to raise rates and change and collect the money they need.
so is this another kind of justification for doing that, the water and sewer rate study that they've been advocating for?
Yeah, because
kind of-
that provides you with, if you build this much in, you will have this much money in the out years, and you're gonna buy these things with it, yes,
Okay, thank you.
sure.
That raises your bill.
What else on the warrant?
28, I had another question about.
28,
That was the
Okay.
Apple Street, yeah, it was a kind of a chicken and the egg question for me. You know, do you move forward to build the road before you know what the bridge, or what the condition of the bridge is, but you said,
you build the road anyway, because one bad hurricane could wipe out the culvert, and now you have no way to get there.
Fixed, and even if it's structurally sound, yeah.
okay. And how, what kind of road are we talking about? Are we just talking
I
about?
would say gravel to start, because it's not going to be your primary way to access. And then, you know, if we ever had something catastrophic, then you would bring in a paver, because it would be the daily access.
Is there any reason why we would not want it along the western edge?
No, I think that,
I mean,
depending on what you think you want to do with the property, if you want to keep it out of the way,
you'd think you'd want to keep it out of the way, but.
but you need to stay away from wetlands buffers,
Right, yeah,
because you can put it anywhere, you don't want to go through that permitting if you don't have to.
right.
Okay. What else? Oh, the Article 29 can come off, right? I assume you are not in favor of paying.
Spending money? No,
To get rid of this stuff, right?
No.
Because you don't have to.
I'm not.
It's gone.
Did that
You
feel
know, you
good?
need some fill in
Yeah,
your
it did.
backyard, don't you?
Yeah, that's all I need.
300 cubic yards.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So the 3 bridges, I just want to be clear. We've got some money now to phase 1.
60,000, that has to be spent by June 30th.
And that's
Yes.
phase 1.
Yes.
And this Article 30 is proposing dollars for phase 2. And that is, are we thinking it's going to be about the same amount, or would it be different?
We don't know.
Okay.
We only know, which is on the agenda for later, that there's a certain group of things you can do for the 60, and there's a whole bunch of other things that you have to
Yeah.
do after that.
And they're gonna itemize all those next.
Eventually, but right now, it's just about getting everyone to agree, yep, this is a good group of things to do for the 60, so they can get started, or they're not gonna have time to do it.
Right.
And we'll lose the money.
Yeah.
Article 31.
31, yep. This is the deed research. We put this on here, Peter, I don't think you were here,
I wasn't.
for additional discussion, so that you could all 3 discuss. The decision might get made kind of for you, because there's still a lot of general fund expenses that we need to use free cash for, and I don't know if you've got an extra 100 to play with to do
And I
this.
thought the 100 was an estimate from several years ago, so. could
It is,
be
so it would be more.
more than that. I'm not interested in this right now, no.
It's up to you, Peter.
No, I don't think, I don't,
So put
You
it
know what?
on
We
the
keep
list
doing
for
this.
future.
We keep kicking it down the can. This is 154 acres.
I know. I know.
So,
You lobbying me or Annie?
you know what, it doesn't, it's a lot of land that we just keep closing our eyes to, that we're in one side crying that don't have the money, and the other side, you know, we don't even know if we can get that land and be able to do something with it at some point.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, we're gonna spend money and we might not end up with any.
You might not even end up
How
with.
much money we spend on all of these studies, all of these engineering things. We spend a lot of money to begin with.
But what Peter's saying is, the $100,000, you could spend all of that money and still find that what you did wasn't good enough to go through the process of getting the property. It's
We
possible.
have not received taxes on this property forever. So why can't we just go to, it hasn't received taxes since 1829, let's,
Not allowed. We went to town council about that.
And town council did recommend that,
Extensive deed research.
yeah, but they also said they wouldn't
Guarantee
guarantee
anything.
it
Nope.
and wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a risk. It's a risk.
so you can take it off if that's the consensus.
I'll keep it on the list to keep tracking.
We'll keep kicking it down the,
All right, what else?
32, I don't think we're ready for prime time on that.
no. Well,
We're waiting for the Board of Public Works to determine whether or not they would even
want it.
entertain the notion of putting a new tennis court there.
Yeah.
And my understanding is, I just saw an email today, they're still wrestling with whether they want to do a chairman with a group of people meeting or the full Board of Public Works. And until they figure that out, time's ticking.
Yep.
Plus, you would never see the tennis court listed here. You would see exactly what you see here. The Community Preservation Act article is always generic, and the handout shows you the specific things, okay?
Yeah, about that. I remember that at a recent meeting, the decision came down to just before the town meeting. It wasn't like the decision about
Yes.
what to fund. And that can happen,
Yes.
I don't like that.
Because what we do with the warrant is we say a sum of money. Once you say that, it could be on the floor. It could be anything that is uttered
Yeah.
when the person gets up there.
And that's what you have the committee for. They've been racking their brains over, these 5 items, but only 2 of them moved to the top to get funded.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only
You
one. I
can't go
believe,
with
the
specific amounts of
floats.
money in the warrant.
Yeah.
Because too much changes in between, and once you write that on there,
Yeah.
you can't change
I
it.
just don't think it's good for voters to not know what's possible until the minute they
I
get,
think the only one right now is the floats, right?
I thought that was already passed.
No, that's the ramp.
The only one that, is, that they've approved is the floats.
Right. And we're not, yeah, I guess we are meeting before then, but.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, I'll get that together for the next meeting.
Thank you, Brendan.
Sure. Just wanted to indicate that we did get the award of the MVP 2.0 Regional Assessment Grant. MAPC is going to be coordinating that, and the 4 communities will cooperate with them under that umbrella, and Town Green will be involved for the public
What does that
outreach.
get us? Is it just
What
an
it gets you is-
administrative grant, or is it, yeah, it's just pulling everybody?
Here's what it gets you. It gets you the fact that right now, if Essex is going to try to go for environmental grant money,
Right.
you have to compete, and one of the things that is lacking here is we don't get points for the diversity of groups that are affected more severely by climate change because they're elderly or they're disabled or whatever group you want to talk about. And what we can do here, if we do this regionally, is we can say in those grant applications, okay, maybe we don't have this population of people in Essex, but we do on Cape Ann. Now you're starting to get those points on the grant application. You're using a wider lens to try to get those groups factored in. And by the fact that we did it regionally, we're going to get the points if we.
Kind of like the letter from Manchester. I mean, it doesn't really affect us, but it does in the sense.
And then what
we're
each
part of Cape Ann.
town will get is an amount of money, I think it's $50,000 for what they call a starter project.
Okay,
4
so
different
some-
projects.
yeah.
And whatever comes out of the study, it would be, we think, the group would recommend, we think we should spend the money on this, and here's what it will do for us.
So you want me to entertain a motion for, to give the chairman authorization to
Yes, when the
sign?
paperwork is available, if Essex itself has to sign anything.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tobacco Lake study, that's one of the handouts that I just provided to you tonight. And
I'm glad to see it's going into the cyanobacteria and
yes,
issues all about.
and
that's
the
a big focus.
the Lake Association is willing to put in 20,000 of its own money. So we're talking about 15,000 from each of the 2 towns, that's 30.
Yep.
20 from the Lake Association, that's 50, and 30 from the state, that's 80.
My one comment would be, if they look at any options for potential treatment. They use copper sulfate or something, whatever, for cyanobacteria. And just, maybe it's not feasible, maybe it's not possible, but maybe make that recommendation in there.
So that they will provide whether,
Whether or not.
is there a
it should be-
treatment strategy that would work in
Yeah,
Tobacco Lake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I look at that with you?
Sure.
Because this is I didn't like this being at the
Didn't have that, I
end.
have one.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
You're a pond nerd, huh? So a small amount of annual water monitoring is required to successfully mitigate cyanobacteria blooms. Are we doing enough on that? I mean, I look at this thing and I think, okay, what's not here is kind of like, what is the benefit of? I feel like we're not very good at articulating what the benefits of the many studies are, but there are benefits. And I just would recommend, like, you gave us that really great summary of all of the stuff you're doing, and it's like, I know we've done things that have improved the lake, or we've done things that have improved our ability to kind of manage
The marsh or
climate.
whatever.
Yeah, so I guess I would like more of the kind of like, what does it give us? Because people question, why do we keep doing all these studies? And
So we could have them actually write a section in the report
Yes,
that
that would
says
be-
the benefits of this,
yes,
including work that was done in the past. Wrap it together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
is that a fair request?
Yeah.
Sure.
And nothing needs to be voted on this at this point, right?
Yes, it should be, because we need to keep moving on it. So it would be to authorize the chairman to sign the contract with Applied Watershed Sciences and the other partner contractors as they become available, not to exceed the amount of money that has been pledged by the various sources.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The town bridge study, this is where I was talking about, there's been a short summary from Weston and Sampson about what could be included in the $60,000 Phase 1. And Nick Ellis from the Board of Public Works reviewed it and felt that it was a reasonable scope. This obviously has to be spelled out in a detailed scope of services and a contract, but I'm recommending that the chairman also be authorized to sign this contract when it becomes available.
And that would be for the second phase?
This is for Phase 1.
Phase 1.
This is the scope that,
Oh,
for
okay,
the
just-
60,000
okay,
will be
yeah,
spent
yeah.
on.
Okay.
Entertain a motion for the, to authorize the chairman to sign any necessary contract documents when the Board of Public Works arrives at a final scope of work and engineering firm,
For the bridge study.
the town bridge study.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And finally, Alva was on this meeting, the town planner was on this meeting earlier today. It's the Rural and Small Town Housing Choice Community Designation. We were invited to attend this webinar. Unfortunately, we do not meet any of the possible criteria. There are 4 of them. It's either you had a certain amount of housing growth and you are able to meet certain numbers of best practices. And that, so the more housing growth that you had, the less of the best practices you need to meet. But the lowest one, and we're below that, is 1.5% growth. Plus you would have to meet 9 of 21 best practices. What are the benefits of this? If we could meet it, and we can't, you would have the ability to compete for some other grants, including grants that could give you up to $500,000 for site preparation for affordable housing and up to $150,000 for planning and zoning studies. There are also other grants that you're not even allowed to apply for unless you have this designation. But again, we do not have what's necessary to even meet one of the 4
So we're too
criteria.
small for the rural and small town housing.
Yes, yes.
Which is so odd when,
Who are they dealing with? I guess
I-
Danvers?
it's 181 towns that were invited.
Invited, but did they all qualify, or did?
Well, they probably did the same.
Not
thing.
all of them even got on the call. And then of the ones that were on the call, some don't even qualify.
Right.
Okay, so that's it? We don't need to vote
From
on
my
that,
report,
right?
yep.
Okay, so I'm going to look for public comment. Is there anybody in the room that has public comment? Can't see. Nobody's raising their hand. Is there anybody online that would like to make public comment?
I think Janet has her hand up. Janet Carlson.
Yes,
Janet,
My
do you
turn?
have a public comment?
yes, thank you. Janet Carlson at 24 Apple Street. I have 2 quick comments. One is about Ruth Perrine's proposed article to eliminate the OSRD provision. Just want to mention in your future discussions of that, whether you want to approve it or not, it may come up anyway, but I wanted to mention that in the example of the Essex Park Road development that's being considered, of the 70% land that would be maintained in open space, I think a lot of that land is non-buildable anyway, so that would be relevant to discussion of tax loss or tax savings. And that may also apply to future OSRD projects. The second comment I wanted to make has to do with the road through 30 Apple Street as a secondary access. Brendan mentioned the wetlands considerations. I want to also point out that the hedgerow there on the western side is a very rich and diverse wildlife habitat. Deer, rabbits, coyote, owls, eagles, all kinds of birds. So two things, or two questions. Is it the Conservation Commission that has oversight of wildlife habitat? And secondly, could you consider swinging the road around to the other side where there's already development, Lowland Farm Road, despite the need for a jog to the right from the Apple Street access?
So I can answer those
Thank you.
questions. The Conservation Commission only has jurisdiction within 100 feet of a wetland and 200 feet of a river. If there's land that's not within their jurisdiction, unless there's some proven endangered species issue, the owner of the property is allowed to develop that area. With respect to the road, nobody has even determined where a road might even go. I think it's premature. I mean, what was the specific question, Janet?
Well, I heard you say it sounds like it's part of an article for the town warrant, and I heard you mention keeping the road to the west side of the parcel.
Right, Peter suggested that, but nobody has come up with an actual location yet.
I see. Okay, so I just wanted to suggest that the road go over to the other side where there's already development, and that would be less of a threat to the wildlife habitat.
So you're saying come off Lowland Farm Road and cut across the back side of that property to get over?
I hadn't
Farm
thought
Road
of
is a
that.
private
It's a
road.
private road. You have to come off of Apple Street.
Oh.
Yeah, but it just requires veering over to the right from Apple Street. That's, so,
Yeah, it's something that the Board of Public Works, I'm sure, is going to talk to the selectmen about, especially, that's what we said when we talked about it on the warrant, when we have that joint meeting. While we're on the topic for the selectmen, was there any other discussion on the two ideas that Ruth did put up? Is it something you want to see added, at least in draft form, what it would look like, or is it something you want to talk about next time when you've had more time to think about either of those?
So I honestly think that putting it in a draft form is not going to be a problem, because you'll just take it off before if we decide to not do it. But I think that it gives public something to hear about or see for us to have a discussion about.
All right, well, you said you don't really want to. You said that we should. Which way do you want to go?
I don't know, I'd like more information
So-
on what it actually means.
So rather than putting it down, get more information on each one of these ideas
Yeah.
for the board at the next meeting. Is that a good approach?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. And while we're on the topic, because it's later on the agenda, somebody wrote in to determine whether the board was interested in selling 30 Apple Street. It's under other business.
Yeah.
So I will say that there's a part of me that says, yeah, sure, let's do that. There's a part of me that says, wait, we've told people that the reason we wanted this land is so that we're land poor as a town, It gives us an opportunity to be able to do things. Then there's a part of me that says if we sell it, we could get this group to do it. But I'd want more detail, I mean,
I don't think we're ready to sell it at this point. I think that we need to look at our options, you know, there's the, housing issue, you know, I think there's a possibility for that. What about the road that's coming through? I don't know. I mean, I think it's
There was a whole
premature.
list of things that the board
Right.
solicited public input in the past.
Yeah.
I can rejuvenate that list and bring it back to you at the next meeting. Kind of like the two ideas that Ruth came up with. I'll get you more information, okay?
I think that makes sense.
There's no urgency.
There isn't, but I can at least give you what people wrote in.
I think that I mean, I can remember that I helped try to sell this thing at town meeting, and I think for me, the most pressing issue was getting that bridge dealt with. We needed that access in order to address the bridge problem. So until we have a plan for that, I would
Yeah.
like to hold on to it.
And then, since it came in late and you're talking about the warrant, a resident has suggested that there be a snow shoveling bylaw for you to shovel the sidewalk in front of your house. This is not new. This has come up in front of the board before, and the board decided not to move on with it, primarily because there are people who can't do that, and it would cost them money if they had to hire someone to do it or suffer a fine if they didn't do it.
so I will say that I did a drive around today and I went into other towns. Ours are bad.
Ours are bad.
Ours are bad.
I walked here tonight. Great.
And if you walk on the street, it's fine.
Yeah.
But as far as, I'm not saying that they're clear, but ours are like 6 inches of divots that you're walking through versus I went through Ipswich and went, oh, look, right, I see pavement. And that's kind of like, is there equipment that we need better? Is there something that needs to be looked
Just
at?
bought new equipment.
There's also an accessibility issue. I mean, if a person was in a wheelchair, there's some parts of town that they can't.
Lots of parts,
There's
yeah.
handicap ramps to walk across streets and it's snow on both sides and you couldn't possibly walk on the crosswalk.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can bring it before voters and they can decide against it. So I don't have a
Yeah, I
problem.
wouldn't recommend it unless there's a penalty, right, because no one's going to do it.
Well, so that's the thing, I'd like to enforce what we do have there, which is somebody blocking, you know, they have a plow and they block this, you can't, this, you know, especially in this winter where it's so much snow, the plow comes out and then they leave a pile right
There
on the
is,
sidewalk.
there is a bylaw that says you can't do that, which is make things worse, basically.
Yeah.
Would be a bylaw that says you have to alleviate whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard because the other part is, and I'm only thinking Martin Street because in the past, I've gone out there and shoveled, or I've gone out there and snowblowed because I walk my dog. And we've got land that's not owned by somebody. It's town land.
Yeah.
So what do? You know, that's the hard part.
Do you want to see what this would look like?
I don't know, I don't like it. It's like a cost for a lot of people, it'll be a cost.
It would be a cost. This is what came up when the
I
board
would
reviewed
rather,
this.
you know, put it on the list for DPW to say, can we improve this?
All right, so the pleasure of the board right now.
So do you want to have that be part of the conversation?
A part of the conversation, that's,
And honestly, we have so much to talk about, but it may be like a continued conversation you have with Nick. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Chair to chair.
I just feel like there's parts of me that say, you know, do we reach out to the school and say, is there volunteers that want to help out if we went down that path with neighbors? All right, so is it my turn?
It is.
Is Janet's stuff all done? I know we kind of,
Public comment's over.
okay.
I think she said the things that she would,
Okay.
two different
Just
things.
checking.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to other business. Approve the weekly warrant in the amount of $313,972.24.
So moved.
Second?
Entertain a motion to, for the minutes for the Selectmen open meeting on January 26, 2026.
Did we
And
want to
the-
vote on the warrant? I don't think we said.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want to split this next one into the open meeting and the executive session, or, because I was not at the full open meeting, but I was at the executive session.
So I had read that you don't have to, as long as you read the meeting notes, you can still vote on it.
But you don't have to. He could just
He can
abstain
abstain.
from the one he doesn't want to vote
I'll
on.
just abstain on the next
All
one.
right. Approve the minutes for January 26, 2026, open meeting and executive session.
So moved?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Peter, you're abstaining?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go slower because BZ's being...
I'm working on it. I have different papers here.
Okay, moving on, ratify the chairman's signature. Entertain a motion to ratify the chairman's signature on an application for a volunteer fire capacity grant for the new wildfire gear, $6,600.
So moved, yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Vote to designate Amy Riley, Animal Control Officer, and Hayes, I don't know how to say it.
Demule.
Demule, Assistant Animal Control. I do want to ask a question, a couple of questions here. Do we require logs/requests and who responded to them type of report?
We have that. The police department does that every time that she's summoned.
Could you, I mean, I would like to see that, just because my concern is, I don't have a scanner, but I've heard from people who have scanners that, sometimes they hear that they're not available. I'd like to know, is it they're not available once?
I can find out.
Or is it,
It's in the system.
yeah.
So moved.
You don't have to. Oh, you mean on that, yeah.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I would like to get some information, just so that we're consistent with all departments that we want to know.
Sure.
This next one is, by the way, 11 Middle Road. There's a typo on the agenda.
What is the sign the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources form?
They require a form every year that says who you appointed.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's every year we appoint, right?
Yeah.
That was the form that you and I couldn't find the signature on.
Oh, okay.
Review Amy Robinson's request to approve desk and chair replacement at desk
No.
Deck,
Deck and
sorry.
stairs.
at 11.
Yes, yeah.
And it's 11 Middle Road?
So I did not, that's not the picture I sent, I guess I sent 15.
You
I
sent
don't-
15. So that's not,
We saw a plan, do we?
yep. So the plan is, they want to take what you see on the left-hand side that says existing, and they want to make the upper part that's at the top of the stairs larger. Right now, it's 6 by 6 with a triangle at the top. They want to make the whole thing 10 by 13. It's 6 by 6, and one leg of the triangle is 7 feet, so that the whole length is already 13 feet. They want to square the thing off and make it a little wider, even in the rectangular part, okay, or the square part, by bringing it out 4 feet. It will line up with what's on the ground, which is 10 by 10.
So are those stairs, so one side is at ground level and the
And
other
then
one-
stairs go up to the piece that's
Smaller
angled,
piece.
yeah.
So they want to enlarge the.
Yes,
deck
and so
part.
you could say yes, you could do a site visit to determine whether you think it will unduly affect the neighbors. It's up to you.
That's where my concern is, and that's why I took the picture, because I wish I had the right house.
This is ground level, walk up to that.
Because I wanted to make sure that, if we say yes to this, are we going to get a complaint from a neighbor? If we, that type of thing.
Right, and that's why it usually comes before you, and so you can still do that. You could say, pending a site visit, and the town administrator is told that it's okay, so you don't have to wait all the way until the 23rd, if you three can find a time to go look at it.
Yeah,
I would like that, if you two are in agreement.
sure.
Okay. And ratification of the town administrator.
So do you want to vote on that?
Oh.
To approve it pending a site visit?
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I can just send them an email and see what works
Yep.
for them?
Yep.
Okay, so then moving on, ratify the town administrator's approval of an electrical permit for 154 Canomo Point Road for meter socket and riser replacement?
Yeah, so I went ahead and approved this because there's no substantive change to the
Just
character of
replacing
the
it,
building.
Yeah.
So this is just ratification. And on these, there are specific votes that need to
Oh,
be
that's right.
read. They're right here, Ellen.
Thank you. All right, so,
This one, I'll add to this one, because it'll be pending a site visit.
so do I put my name, the chairman, or do I put Board of Selectmen? Oh,
Whoever so moves it,
okay.
or you could just read it, and then they could, so you would put your
I,
name.
Elvin Guerrero, move to ratify the town administrator's approval of the electrical permit to perform the following work on 154 Canomo Point Road, map 108, lot 42. Replace meter socket and riser, subject to all terms and conditions of the land use and said premises, including but not limited to Article 5 and 9.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm going to put my name, the heck with it. Did you want me to read that one again?
Yeah, I'm adding the statement.
I, Elvin Guerrero, move to approve the building permit
I am.
to perform the following work at 11 Middle Road, map 108, lot 54. Replace the rear deck and stairs, subject to all terms and conditions of the land lease and said premises, including but not limited to Articles 5 and 9, contingent upon a site visit verifying that the proposal will not unduly affect the abutters.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, just,
Yeah, that's right.
okay, so consider the rental of the Grove Pavilion or cottage.
Is the town accountant's employment
Oh,
contract?
sorry. Consider the signature of an amendment to the town accountant's employment contract, with approval being subject to appropriation at the annual town meeting.
This is what we discussed.
Yep, now you're just doing it in regular session.
Yeah. So moved.
Second, can we talk about this?
Yes.
So this is to officially grant the increase.
It's to,
Put it on the warrant.
subject to appropriation by town meeting, say that the salary for fiscal year 2027 will be $80,000, which is a slight change from what it was in the existing contract.
Okay. And, okay, thank you.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Start going around. Just to sign.
What is it? Oh,
Just to sign it.
yeah.
Peter?
3 copies of the same.
Good thing I have no money in my bank account.
Are there multiple copies?
Yeah, it's all the same, he said.
Thank you, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
And did we take a vote? It's all done now?
Yep.
Okay. I'm moving on to the, consider the rental of the Grove Pavilion or cottage for a specific event.
Is that that was on the agenda last week?
It was, and so I went back to the people that are interested in having the event. They weren't aware of where the cottage was. They thought it was the concession stand. So they did take a trip out there. They looked at the cottage facility versus the pavilion. They're much more interested in the pavilion. The issue is, we're going to have the restrooms under construction in the spring and probably into the summer. And I suppose that if it's cordoned off with tape and there's an active construction zone, they could have the event. It might not be visually pleasing, but if you're concerned about liability or not knowing, it's still within your purview to say that you're not opening the pavilion up for individual events.
They're okay, they know that it's gonna be a construction site?
Yes, and they also know that
They don't
they'll
care.
have to bring in their own sanitation.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
concern is it's 2 and 3 year olds, 1 and 3 year old?
Yeah, it is.
It's young kids.
They're not looking at the view.
It's already near a lake. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have sort of supervision there, I mean.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's a construction site. That's where my concern is.
But when is this event? What date?
June 7th, the first weekend or the second weekend, I think it was, of June?
Saturday, June 6th, or Sunday, June 7th, and then possibly Saturday, June 13th, or Sunday, June 14th.
Because when does camp start, and isn't that the same?
End of June.
End
Yeah,
of July.
later than that.
So I would prefer the earlier one.
Well, I think they put that in for the weather.
Oh, right.
You mean to have it an option,
Yeah.
they're gonna do the 7th? Do we do that?
I don't know.
We haven't done that to date.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody else wanted to come in and rent it, we wouldn't want to block 2 weekends.
Right.
So they need to pick a weekend.
They need to pick a weekend and
Remember, the
verify
time
in
is-
writing that they're okay with the construction site and the fact that they have to bring in their own sanitation unless they want to walk to the other end of the clearing to use the toilets that are going to be over there.
The portable toilets will be open?
Yes, but they're all the way over at the edge of the clearing.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with it, we can,
Just so you know from history, and we haven't approved others using actually, the only one we've approved for the pavilion since construction started was the ALS.
for ALS.
Yeah. Because they said that, they know they'll take full responsibility type of thing.
So I think it's fine,
You've given them enough heads up, I mean,
yeah, and the construction site, they'll take away anything that's hazardous and they'll cordon off the area, which is what they do for camp anyway, with a orange fence right now.
Yeah.
That's what they had to do all last year.
oh, so it's gonna be like a snow fence, it's not gonna be just yellow hat.
It can't be because then anyone can just walk, a little kid,
Right. Yeah, so
So
great
for
if
camp,
it's-
they put a snow fence up.
Great,
But
if they
last
put the
year for
snow-
camp, there was no building yet. There was just a platform.
They didn't want anyone to fall in the hole or whatever it was.
So, yeah, I think that they should pick a date. I don't think it can be,
Yep, and we'll have the paperwork come through for a regular approval, as long as they're okay with those conditions.
and if there's a waiver, I think they should sign a waiver.
There is, and you don't need to vote on it now, because the regular paperwork will come through and you'll approve that when it does. This was whether or not you even wanted to entertain it.
So the next item is the consider an inquiry with respect to whether the board is in favor of proposing the sale. So I think do I need to put a vote on that, or just?
I think we said there,
We're not at this time?
I'm gonna get you the list of things.
Right.
It's probably not going forward, but at least you'll understand what people suggested at the time.
Yeah.
We had a correspondence from Rob Fitzgibbons of the Board Library Trustees concerning the possible purchase of the Essex-based historical artifact.
Called Old Baldy.
You brought it up.
You can buy it for $1.
I did not even think about
Maybe
it
I
until
should
you
bid
said
But
it.
we already discussed this, I'm young Baldy, so it's not me.
Can I bid $2 for it? I want to put it down at the end of my
So the
driveway.
problem here is that thus far, the Peabody Essex Museum has not wanted to part with it because we didn't have enough security in
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
So we're running off with like a football, right? I got old Baldy.
Awful.
It'll end up on a roof at MIT, right? So, what they're looking for is support from the selectmen for this to be taken on by the library. And I think what would be helpful is if there was some kind of letter that explained what the support meant. You could sign it outside of a meeting if you're interested in doing that.
Yeah, I think we should do it. It's an interesting piece of history.
I think it's also a very cool idea. I messaged Carla and Rob. It'd be a nice educational component to this, just given like what else is happening in the world with artifacts that have been taken, you know what I mean? And how do you get it back? I think it'd be pretty neat for
Yeah.
people to follow.
So, but do we, like, how is it gonna be in one of these glass containers? Is it,
Well, Carl is here.
What are your plans for Old Baldy?
Hi, Carla Christensen, 15 School Street, here as library director. And we have talked about two different things with Old Baldy. One is an outdoor placement in the garden. Old Baldy was outdoors for years and years and years on the causeway. The other option is, an indoor, on a pedestal or a plinth or something with a label. I mean, the jury is 100% out on Old Baldy's provenance, and I think that's some of the issue here. They're just paying to store it for decades and decades and decades on end.
and it says it was found in 1811. Do we know where it was found?
Yeah, there was some.
Oh my God.
There's a write-up on it.
Story Street.
This is coming up in front
Extensive
of,
investigation.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, the reason I'm asking is, would an ideal place be at
Wow.
the new elementary school? To
It
be
was
able-
found like over by that train station, right? The orange
It was
train-
actually sort of down by the apartments on the causeway. It was displayed there for a long time.
But wasn't it dug up? It was dug up, it was 10 feet in the ground.
Yeah, it was dug up originally
Yeah.
in its sort of first iteration before it went on all its travels.
We have a new town historian. Has he weighed in on this at all?
I think all the historians have weighed in on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rob's been working on this for years.
I think it's great.
I do too.
so is the board in favor of signing a letter of support once it's provided to sign outside of a meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
And Carla, I'm sorry I didn't see this to bring it up earlier, so you didn't have to spend your whole night with us.
That's all right.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, you're sending her.
All right, making a motion for the, for the board to sign the letter of support for Old Baldy, once it's available.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so I'm gonna, thank you, Carla. Make a motion to sign a letter of support for the Town of Manchester's MVP Action Grant application concerning the Central Street Bridge replacement and Sawmill Brook restoration project. Now, before we, go ahead, make a motion.
So moved.
Second?
For discussion, I just want to, do we have a couple of bullet points that can explain why we're signing this so that,
Yes, because the electric supply for Manchester and part of Gloucester goes through this area. It also supplies electricity to facilities of the Manchester Essex School District. And so it's important to the town of Essex for that reason alone, in addition to just cooperation regionally.
I The first I heard of this electric thing was at that meeting at Ipswich High School or Ipswich Town Hall.
Yeah,
I did not realize how vulnerable.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah, kind of, are you kidding me?
and there's only two
Level?
feeders before that, upstream, if you will. There's only two feeders that come over the river in Beverly, or I think Beverly, the Beverly Bridge, and then one goes underneath the sediment.
Yeah,
And one of them was actually in trouble. They fixed it, but
Yeah.
there was really only one for a while.
yeah. that-
Feed the entire north of there.
And that's one of those, my understanding is that's one of those reasons why sometimes Manchester will have no electricity and Essex does, is because
Oh,
we're getting ours
really?
from another area,
Yes.
from another direction.
Yes.
Area, yeah.
And that's why one side of Essex may be out of lights, but we're not, because,
But the school district is reliant on
Yeah,
things that this project will help.
huh, okay.
all right, so, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's a really good question for whoever's running for that seat, Anne Margaret's seat, I think, don't you?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I have no additional items.
That was supposed to be paid for by a grant that, current administration killed. So it was
Yeah.
funded, a year ago.
Significant amount of money.
Yeah, they've lost a couple of
Yep.
big things, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna, take a consent, entertain a motion for a consent agenda for the licensing of commercial shellfish, senior shellfish, student shellfish, and non-resident shellfish.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, reminders. The next Board of Selectmen, Selectmen's meeting will take place Monday, February 23rd, 2026 at 6 PM on the third floor of the auditorium at Town Hall, 30 Martin Street. Town Council will offer ethics training for all town employees, boards, and committees for March 2nd, 2026 at 6 PM here in the auditorium. I didn't know, BZ, if you were going to be sending out, so you knew who was coming.
I sent it out to everyone that we send out to for the quarterly department and board and committee chair. Asked anyone who got it to pass it down to other members of their board, and added actually some others that I thought of. But no, there was no request to indicate who's going to come. But I'm sure it's going to be enough people that it'd be worthwhile.
Yeah, I just thought it would be good to have a list of who feels that, that they are going to come. But that's just me, because it makes it easier than to show up and find
We'll
there's
find
only
out on
two of
March
us.
2nd. I think there'll be a lot of interest in it.
Okay, so,
Really? Yeah?
The Council on Aging is very interested in it.
Okay.
and I'm going
Was
to,
there do you recall when the OSRD hearing is?
March 4th.
The planning board one?
Good question.
March 4th? That's here?
Yeah. And it was on, I think that was on the last one.
Yeah, it was, I thought it
Came
was
off of
sooner
this.
than that, yeah,
It's here, yeah.
okay.
okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiation with non-union personnel, the town administrator, and discuss collective bargaining with respect to the AFSCME labor union.
And I recommend that the chairman declare that an open discussion of these matters would be detrimental to the town negotiating position, and that the board will not be returning to regular session after the conclusion of the executive session.
Second?
It's a roll call vote.
Inga Harry, yes?
Trippin, yes?
Cameron, yes.
Wait, what?